Want to stream Cognitive Dissonance to your Android or iPhone? Buy the app. Go to dissonancepod.com and click on the link on the right-hand side of the page. Each purchase helps support the show.
Because the Bible says that this is what you're supposed to be spending your time on. You say, well, I have all these other important things. Well, what does the Bible say is important? Feeding and clothing your family is what this woman is spending her time on. She's getting up early to make food. She's making clothes. That's what, look, am I making this stuff up? I mean, that's what the time's going into. And so if this is not what your time is going into, ladies, you need to reevaluate, the time that you're putting into your household. That's your main job. Teaching your children, training them, bringing them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Not just shut them up with a cookie, shut them up with a prepackaged snack so I can go back to farmland, or I can go back to Bejewel Me, or whatever, or Mafia War, or whatever. I'm going to go back to my video game now. I'm going to go back to finding out what my 5th grade classmate is doing with their life right now. I need to get back to watching movies and watching TV and watching soap operas and watching the reality show. I'm too busy to homeschool my children. I just don't know how anybody can homeschool. You know what? I don't even understand why you even have children if you're going to just drop them off at the government school so they can be brainwashed to be a wicked, God-hating pervert. Right. And I'm not saying that's how they're going to turn out, but that's the goal of that system, to make them turn out that way. And if they don't turn out that way, it's going to be a miracle. And you got to thank God every day for it. If you can get out of that place without being corrupted, you're an amazing person. Okay, and you have an amazing family. Because I'm telling you, that is the goal. That place is run by Satan. The public school is run by the devil himself. Obviously, he has an authority structure. He has little devils working under him at the school boards and school district levels. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not ashamed to tell you that institution is run by Satan. It promotes sodomy. It promotes godlessness, atheism, evolution, humanism, perversion, relativism. We could go down the list of the abominations of public school, but ladies today, they want to eat the bread of idleness, so they drop their child off at public school and say, here, raise my child for me. But why even have a child if you're giving it unto Satan to be raised? The purpose of producing children is so that you can bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. Not so that they can be raised by the devil and raised by the world and raised by his crowd. We should raise our own children. And look, it's just an excuse to eat the bread of idleness. Drop my kid off at school so that I can do nothing all day. And you say, oh, but I'm so busy. But it's easy to become busy with the wrong things. It's called being a busybody.
Be advised that this show is not for children, the faint of heart, or the easily offended. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no welcome mat. We are recording, this is episode 87, and I have to note that we are recording on Valentine's Day with our original BFF, Thomas, from Thomas in the Bible, also from F This Podcast. We are neglecting our wives to bring you this show today. On Valentine's Day.
I'm neglecting your guys' wives too, actually, to bring the show. Did they mention it? Or
She's used to disappointments from people with the same name, so it's fine.
Yeah. She's really onto that name now. She's like, next guy I pick, not going to be named Tom, gotta say.
Bad decision.
Maybe Cecil. No, I'm just maybe a name that starts more like with a C-E-C. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's been exactly a year, just about exactly a year.
Yeah, by one
Crazy.
day. Yeah.
Oh, well, we should have recorded yesterday then.
Totally
Let's just-
Fuck this. All right, let's go 88 miles an hour. Who's got the flex capacity?
Yeah, I heard you make that joke the other show, and I laughed really hard.
I only have 2 jokes. Tom only has like 4 fucking jokes.
No, he only has 4, but that was the 4th. You know, like I've heard the other 3, and that was the final, like 4th.
Right, yeah.
So I've heard all his jokes, but yeah. So I'm never laughing at you again. But like that last one. No, you said like no one in that country can go 88 miles an hour. That's really funny. Oh man. Yeah. So, but I want to clear something up because like I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last time we talked, I was a little bit like skeptical of the Bible. I think I maybe was almost critical, I'd say.
Yeah.
Is that true? Or
There was definitely that flavor to your readings. And for listeners that don't know, Thomas's show, he has in the past read the Bible and then offered some commentary as you're going along. So are you saying this has changed, that your skeptical, critical bent on the Bible is shifted?
Yeah, I was worried this would happen because I mean it's going to kind of change the tone of the show here, I bet. But yeah, it turns out I had a listener, a very erudite Bible scholar, email me. It turns out I'm using a bad translation of the Bible, and I really should be using just that. That's like the problem. I should be using a better translation. And once I found that out, it was just a world of difference. It's completely. I can't even tell. I'm 100% on board.
Totally different book, huh? It's just
a completely different book. And I should have. Oh shoot! I got to pull up my example. I think this was the one that really did it. And forgive me because the page is refreshing because I had it open before the Lord took away my internet. And
he'll do that.
The Lord,
hey, the Lord give it.
The Lord give it.
The Lord's actually a customer service rep at Comcast. It turns out. Yeah. He's going to return in 2,000 to 4,000 years.
Oh, I was just going to say, it sucks that I was going to make that same joke. God's, idea of time is a little different than ours. He's like, so I can return. We'll be there between 8 p.m. on the year 0 and
yeah, but Jesus is like, I'll be there between 1300 AD and 2500 AD. If you could just wait around, just sit around the house. You can't watch internet porn because the internet's down, but other stuff you can do.
There's some poor bastard in a cave in the Middle East still waiting. Like, it's been so long.
That's what the second coming refers to. It's like they came for the preliminary appointment, and we're like, oh, we got to go back and get some different gear.
I need a wrench. I'm sorry, I got to go back.
Yeah, I need a totally insignificant tool that I didn't bring. Like, I'm going to have to come back another day. You have to take another day off work. Shit. You guys did such a good job of stalling, but I still... Where is it? Oh, here it is. 23,
we
24.
didn't even know we were stalling.
Yeah, I know.
We just call that the show.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. We call that the show. Yeah, you guys have been stalling for what, like 87 episodes now?
I'm fucking kidding, man.
It's either that or get to the fucking point, and we haven't figured out what the point is.
Okay,
exactly.
so there's this. I just wanted to give an example of this translation that, like, you'll see how like it's a completely different book. So, like Matthew 23:24, I believe it is. Matthew, yes. See, I was reading a translation. You're gonna laugh. Like, I was reading a translation that said, has strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. I know, like, that's obviously the wrong translation. I'm stopping you before you even start laughing at me. Like, I understand. Like, I've gotten a lot is shit for it. Right. I know that was wrong. The real wording is you strain out a gnat, yet swallow a camel, which, I mean, it's just completely...
Holy shit,
it's life-changing.
You can understand.
Jesus, you just fucking opened my eyes.
Cancel this program. Delete all the prior episodes for blasphemy.
Holy shit.
Well, it's part of my penance. It's like I got to understand that... did I use the wrong word? Penitence? Penance. I don't know. Anyway, I'm still new at this religion stuff. Like I'm not, I haven't learned all the words. It's still part of that, and once that translation was corrected, it was just a short skip and a step toward Jesus is my savior and all that, like it's just a scant couple, premises, to the argument, and then you're there. It's just that one word was the missing thing. No, I swear to hey, when you edit this,
how is it that someone thinks that the tiniest You changed one word, and that's going to change anything?
I know. And when you go back and edit this, make sure, do you have like a sarcasm filter that just make sure you up that so people can detect the sarcasm involved?
That's the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, I assume you have like a massive
on our show.
No, I mean filter in a way like you buff it. Like you look for those, you look for those peaks and you're like, oh, I'm going to up that a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Not filter it out. Yeah. Somebody sent me an email like, and I'm really happy they email. Like I'm always happy if someone emails me. That's cool. Like either way, if they want to tell me to, fuck off and die, like I'm happy. I'm like, hey, thank you. But
good, you got my email. You should read some of our emails.
I'm not. I don't think somehow I don't get as much hate mail as I thought I was going to. Like I don't know if we talked about this last year or if any of your listeners, are still alive who were listening back then. But
they've died of boredom. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no kidding. Like I can't take any more of the stalling. I was good for 60 episodes of stalling, but I can't do any more. Yeah, no, he sent me an email saying, like, I can't, outlining all these reasons why I shouldn't be using KJV. And if someone wants to say, like, yeah, it's a little hard to understand, and someone did say that, like, 40 episodes in, someone's like, hey, I kind of wish you would just use the new wave version where it's like. The new
wave version, it's all crystals. The whole thing is fucking crystals and dolphins and pyramids. Jesus doesn't walk on the water, he just slides across the back of two dolphins.
Jesus has like a flock of seagulls haircut.
There's a very detailed picture. Yeah, no, but it'll say like, and this guy had sexual intercourse with this person. Like it'll say, that'll be the wording it'll use for when, the begats, how it goes through like 8 years of begat. Yeah, the new versions. There's one that I swear to God that I now really believe in. I wouldn't say that lightly if I didn't really believe in God now. There's one I was listening to. I started off with this podcast to try to just, I don't know why I started. I didn't get very far, but I started off with a pastor reading the Bible when I first started this project. And the begats was, and this person had sexual relations with this person. And I was like, that's awesome. One of the jokes I made is like, well, sexual relations meaning what? Like they blew each other? I don't know.
It's like, and she gave him a handy.
I know, exactly.
It would be awesome if there was a dirty Bible, so it's like, and Jehoshaphat fucked him good and proper. It's like, whoa.
You mean the Bible? You mean the Bible then? Like, it already is that. Like, there's it spares no, detail most of the times. There's tons of good stuff in it.
Yeah, I mean, don't Noah's daughters rape him or something?
No, that's not. Is that no? No, that's not Noah. What do you think? I've read this fucking thing?
You don't even know your own book, man.
Do you think I've read this?
I thought that was a
I'm
lot.
just a big fraud. I haven't.
No, it's Noah, man.
No, Lot's daughters are the ones that he offers up for the people to rape them instead of.
I'm trading one ridiculous passage from a made-up text for another.
Noah already has.
It's almost like it's interchangeable bullshit.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I say it's not Noah is because he already had like a shitload of children that he brought on the ark. So I didn't think that that was a time when they needed to make more babies, incestuous or otherwise.
No, it's not the time, guys. Not the time.
No, was it like Cain or Abel? Like when they, who cares? I don't know.
Yeah, they got that fucker drunk though and fucked him, right? That's what they did.
Yeah, you've unearthed the fact that I'm just a big fraud and I've never actually read a single page of this book.
The whole thing is just a farce.
It's like an ad-libbing the entire Bible.
What the fuck was I talking about? I was getting to a point, guys. What was it? I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, yeah, said sexual relations. Yeah, when you say begat, I can understand that means like, okay, they did it and eventually a child resulted, but when you say like sexual relations, I don't know what that means. Like, is that, does that involve a cigar and like there's, the Bill Clinton reference, but there's varying definitions of sexual relations, No,
there's only one sexual relations. That's it. It should actually just be sexual relation. Because it's just one act. It's just, we don't need to pluralize it at all. It's just, and they had sexual relation. The one. Yeah. Wink, wink. That's actually exactly how it should be written. Don't think about it
because that's a sin.
From now on. So are you spellbound at this point? Are you fascinated, mesmerized by the stunning literary masterpiece that is the Bible?
Well, once I had those couple, prepositional phrases changed to the correct ones, then yes, absolutely.
That did it for you.
Now that
how far along are you now?
Oh, shit. I didn't know you were going to actually ask me real questions. Let me check. I
Your own show.
Oh, my God. You guys, your standards are so high. I just don't even... let me...
Hold on, let me stall for you.
Yeah, you guys gotta do another episode. So, yeah. No, I just finished 2 Samuel. Yeah. Well, I get screwed up now because they got 1st, 2nd. They got. It's not just
right.
Yeah, this is the book of Samuel. Oh, by the way, a fun fact about 2 Samuel. Samuel himself died somewhere toward the end of 1 Samuel, and then
It's
second
like the
Samuel
second Lassie. It's like how many Lassies did they go through to make that fucking program?
Yeah.
And God is like, fuck, I need another Samuel. Bring me another Samuel. I've run out of the first one.
Right now I'm on the book of Land Before Time 14. No. Yeah, no, it's totally true. Like, Samuel died forever ago, and the book kept going. I was like, who's writing this book? Like, I don't understand.
The same could be said of Jesus. He died some time ago. This shit just keeps going.
Yeah, but there's no... To be fair, okay, to play devil's advocate, a.k.a. God's advocate, there's no book of Jesus.
Yeah, wouldn't that have cleared some shit up, though, if there was?
Yeah, if there's a book of Jesus and then Jesus died like 3/4 of the way into it, and then there's like a second book of Jesus where Jesus was not even there, like that's what we're talking about.
The second book of Jesus.
No, so I just finished 2 Samuel.
The second book of Jesus is the Mormon book.
That's
the second book of
Jesus.
Yeah.
The third book of Jesus would be just Scientology, where he just gives up. He's like, fuck it, dude, I'm doing sci-fi now.
I dropped that fantasy shit.
Yeah. So the point I was going to make is basically like, yeah, okay, I can use a different translation if you want, but I really don't think that's the issue here. Like, I don't think at the gnats or whatever the hell the sentence I read was, like, of the gnats, for the gnats, like moreover the gnats. Like, I don't think any of that's going to do whatever the hell that sentence was. That's not all of a sudden equaling me believing in Jesus. Like, it's like if someone said the movie... I don't know. What's a good example? Like the movie Ghostbusters 2. If they're like, no, that's real, and I was like, I don't think that movie's real. Like it's a fine movie. Don't get me wrong. I love Bill Murray just as much as the next guy, probably more than. But I don't think it's real. And they said, no. Look, you're probably just you're just reading. You got the bad translation. Like the movie's real. You're not. You need to get the dubbed version. Where like they dubbed over. That's what it is to me. It's like, no, I don't, like, okay, I'll watch, it's a great film. I'll watch it again, different version if you want me to. Like, I'm in. It's a good film. I'll watch it anytime. But I don't think it's real. Like,
but you didn't turn the subtitles on. Like, that's like, okay. But I heard it just fine the first time.
You didn't watch it with the director's commentary.
I was just going to say that, the DVD extras.
A Bible with director's commentary would be fucking spectacular.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. You saying I didn't direct the Bible? What the hell? Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I completely agree. It would be a lot of, I don't know what we were thinking here. Yeah. Oh, man. This was a question of production. We're just out of budget at this point. There's
a lot of budget problems in the Bible, man.
The whole Bible. The whole middle section is like, I just let the key grip write that. I don't know. We were fucking drunk in the trailer. Shit got fucking serious. Lot
was getting raped by his daughters. We were just having a hell of a time.
No, the whole commentary will be like, God, after that arc scene we did, we blew our entire budget. Yeah. And the rest of the book, after the arc, all those animals, God, you have any idea how expensive it is to
We
film
literally drowned all the extras. I mean, they were all just drowned.
Yeah, well, we wanted realism, We didn't want
people. SAG was up our ass the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what they say? Never work with kids and animals. So we killed all the kids and animals. They killed.
Yeah. At the end of the movie, it said like every species was harmed in the making of this film. Literally every possible species was harmed in the
every species.
There's a difference with how you feed your family. If you cook from scratch, it's both more economical and it is healthier. It's both. Because, you're not feeding your family a bunch of laboratory chemicals and a bunch of additives and preservatives that are associated with prepackaged ready-made foods that are easy, time-saving foods of just grab a box, it's ready in 10 minutes, but it's not healthy. All the nutrition is gone from it. It's filled with preservatives and artificial things. And not only are you think you're saving money, but you're going to pay down at the hospital eventually, for what you're doing to your body and the bodies of your family. But not only that, but look, you're spending the same amount of money in the end. Because if you buy the ingredients and you cook from scratch, you can make an economical meal that is actually healthy, but it's labor intensive. For example, baking a loaf of bread takes a lot of work, takes a lot of energy. It's a lot easier just to buy a loaf of Wonder Bread. The one that's the white bread where you can squeeze the whole loaf into the size of a Super Bowl. It almost proves the theory of the Big Bang, that you could cram that much matter into that small of a space. I'm just kidding. I don't believe in the Big Bang. But, to be able to cram that much matter into space, you're like, the Big Bang's starting to make sense. Because they think the whole universe was crammed so small it was like a dot that you couldn't even see it, it's the universe of Wonder Bread, apparently. But, you can sit there and say, well, why would I bake bread? I'm just going to go buy a loaf of bread. That bleached out, processed bread with no vitamins, no nutrition, no minerals in it. And you can tell your husband, here, honey, thanks for working so hard today. Here's a bologna sandwich on Wonder Bread. That's not looking well to the ways of your household. I'm sorry.
So we're back with Thomas from Thomas in the Bible. And is this podcast still in production, Thomas?
Shit, I'm sorry you brought that up because we just had it was me and my brother, but he's had some life events and he has to stop. And I'm really sad about it. I think it's a fantastic show still, and if anyone wants to check it out, but it's on hiatus for now. Okay. So just fuck that. So cut this out. No, you don't have to. I don't care.
Well, no, I want them not to go search for it if it's a...
it's still up. It's still good. The episodes are still there, but it's
just on hiatus. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're back with Thomas from Thomas in the Bible, and Tom, we're going to talk about one more story with Thomas.
Yeah, this story comes from the Friendly Atheist blog, who incidentally is going to be on our show next week. Christian pastor, I'd rather experience Chinese water torture than listen to a woman argue with me. For fucking real, Pastor Steven Anderson of the Faithful Word Baptist Church in Tempe, Arizona, has an hour worth of some of the craziest make me a sandwich sermon I have ever heard in my life. Thomas, I need to know how much of this biblically accurate. You're my scholar. You're my go-to guy here.
You have grossly overestimated my abilities. I don't know. All of it? None of it? Who knows? Isn't that the thing? Who really fucking knows when it comes to the Bible?
He's got a point, Tom. I think it is all pretty literally right out of the Bible. You could find
any of it, or you could find none of it. That's why it's so stupid. That's why it's a dumb book to use as your guide. You can find anything. There's that. Yeah,
I'm just wondering what verse and chapter says that public schools are run by Satan. I'm just wondering where that comes.
I'm glad you picked that one out because that was my favorite line. Can I read here? Let me read the whole line because that was my favorite thing. If you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
29:35 of the video. It says public schools are run by Satan. Literally. Period. Teachers and school board members are just little devils. I love when people use literally. I love literally thinking of Satan has an office, that he's like, God, I thought running public schools was going to be all just, ruining Christians' lives and all that. But God, there's a lot of administrative work I have to do. There's somebody comes in, they're like, hey, the kids really want to change Meatloaf Monday to, Hash Brown Monday. And the devil's like, God, if I didn't know it was going to be this much work, I would not have decided to accept the role of running public schools. This is way too much work for me.
It's actually really funny that you say this because if you actually subject yourself to watching the video, he actually references an organizational chart.
Yeah.
With Satan at the top and lots of little Satans in different admin positions. Because clearly there's a recognition. It's this is too much work for any one devil. I gotta have, I gotta get some fucking help around here.
I gotta get an
executive devil's assistant. I gotta have a fucking secretarial typing pool for all of this devil work that I'm doing. I mean, he is fucking serious about
Do
this.
you think Satan's a real micromanager? Like he's got one devil that's like, no, dude, Satan's like, hey, what are you working on there? It's like, oh, I got it. I'm just, I'm tormenting this one child and making sure that they're going to turn out an atheist. Oh yeah, how are you going about doing it? No, look, I got it. Like I don't need you to. Look, if you're going to micromanage every little devil that you have under you, like this is going to take all day. You got higher up things to do, right, Satan? I mean, come on.
I'm going to need to see I'm going to have to go ahead and see your plan here. You got this all mind mapped for me to review.
Yeah. He's making all the devils fill out TPS reports.
I was just going to say, he's like, yeah.
Devils have to come in on Sunday.
So now there's another part of this, too, where he's talking about how women should never make sandwiches on Wonder Bread. Like a woman should never make a bologna sandwich on Wonder Bread. And I'm wondering, again, because you're our Bible scholar and you know all the the Bible inside and out. I was wondering is I remember we were talking. This was last year. We were talking about like there's certain parts of the Bible where they talk about specifications about arcs and how big things need to be. Do they ever specify what kind of bread you can and can't eat? Like brands? Do they have like brand favorites in the Bible?
I think they didn't honestly have a lot of selection back then in the bread department. I don't think it was like, well, the French is okay. The French roll, not the sliced French. You can't go with the sliced. That's no good. Yeah, but what if this is some interpretation of like you can't combine meats or whatever, Like what if Wonder Bread is like some sort of pork product and we don't know about it? Like, what if like
combining
it's bologna?
Well, I think when I heard this, it made sense because the Bible makes it so you can't wonder. So I would see why they would be against wonder.
Oh,
it
it's
makes
just
sense
the word.
to me.
Yeah, purely the word. They're like, someone's gonna look at the wrapper on the bread or whatever, the bag, and then they're going to get ideas, Your children.
You're going to make little Carl Sagans because of the bread they're eating.
And ye shall goeth to the Piggly Wiggly, and ye shall buyeth the bread, but the bread shall not beeth the Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
So saith First Bolognians, chapter 3.
Yeah. The bread shall be 2 cubits high, 1 cubit wide. Specified all that.
Big goddamn loaf of bread. That's all I'm saying.
I want the sandwich cut diagonally, not horizontally.
And thou shalt cutteth off the crusts.
Yeah.
And you shall not bring me pimento loaf, for that is not food, so saith the Lord.
If anyone gathers salami sticks on the Sabbath, they shall be stoned. Yeah.
This guy has some super crazy shit. I gotta read my very favorite one. My absolute favorite one is 54 and a half minutes into this diatribe of inanity. Women, don't get mad if the washing machine doesn't work. You used to be the washing machine. I can't see how that would possibly alienate somebody to be referred to as a modern compliance of convenience.
Yeah, and that implies that people didn't used to get mad at women when they didn't wash the clothes correctly. Like maybe that's not true. Like maybe people used to get mad back when they were the washing machine. Like how's that logic sound? I just am not. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say his logic is a little flawed. I'm just a little bit. Like I'm with him on his general premise. It's a great message he's giving, but I think his finer details are a little bit off. I'll just say that.
The guy really, what he's doing is basically saying, I found in the Bible a couple passages that allow me to put every woman in the audience back in the fucking kitchen. So get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich, and it better not be bologna, and it better not be a Wonder Bread.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know how these kind of things I just like to pretend don't actually exist, but I guess they do.
Just like, you blot it out, you put your fingers in your ears and just go la, la, la.
No, I just hear it. I'm like, well, there's no way that's true, but I guess it is. I guess there are people. It's not like this is just one random guy on a street corner yelling things too. Like he supposedly has some sort of following, right? I mean, I don't know anything about this gentleman, but like
there are people so polite.
There are people who were there, right, when he said this, I'm assuming. So it's not just him. It's like there's people who listen to him. I can't even believe it.
I mean, there's an audience. At least we can't see the audience, but he does reference his wife. So I think his wife is in the audience at a certain point. There may or may not be 2 or 3 other people in the audience. I have no idea because you can't see how many people are there. But it certainly sounds pretty quiet. It's rare that there's much, going on in the background. So I'm envisioning like, an 8x10 room with like 4 chairs in it. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
He does address our criticisms. I do want to point out, he does say 55 minutes in that the world may disagree with me, but fuck it. Don't tell me I can't say this stuff just because I can't give birth. I'm a pastor.
Yeah.
So it's proof positive. It's done.
Yeah, I don't think the reason he can't say that is because he can't give birth. I'm pretty sure that if a woman was saying these same things, like, I don't think people would be like, oh, it's a woman. It's fine. Yeah. A woman can tell us to get back in the kitchen because they can technically give birth. So, yeah, that's fine.
You can only say that during your childbearing years, too. Like, once you hit menopause, like, whoa. Are you ovulating right now? If not, get the fuck off the dais. I'm not listening to that shit.
Yeah, at a certain point, like, there's got to be people who are the worst misogynists that are like, all right, man, we get it. Like, there's got to be.
Yeah, when the misogynists get up and walk out of your audience, you know you've done the wrong thing.
Like, too far, man.
He's so exaggerated that. Yeah, they're like, okay, well, we get it. Like, we're with you, but like, all right, this is an hour of you making these. Like, okay, we get it. Like, is there anything else you want to cover in your sermon, or is this it? Like, is this your sermon?
Sound like a broken record after a certain point. Yeah. We get it. You hate women. We understand.
All right, so
Tom and I were musing too. We're wondering what kind of woman would possibly marry a guy like this.
Oh, I know. I just can't even. I just don't. I honestly get embarrassed just imagining. Like his wife even being anywhere around him when he's saying these things. Like I almost feel like I'm blushing just thinking about it. Like how does this
It's
happen?
like watching like Meet the Fockers. You just like want to hide your head under a cushion.
Oh,
like, no, stop. Fucking, I can't. Don't do that. You're going to do that thing. I know you're going to. Oh, he said it. Fucking he said it. There's one point in the video where he stops and he says, how many hours do you spend in a day in the week, a day in the kitchen? And she responds back, and you can't hear her response. He goes, 2 to 3? Nah, fuck it. I think it's more. He's like, even when he solicits her feedback on what she does, then he dismisses it.
So he's finding these passages that reinforce what he thinks about women and reinforce what he thinks about other things, other parts of society. At some point, he's talking about he's clearly anti-gay because he says that when kids go to public school, they become like homo lovers or whatever he says. The guy's completely off his rocker. But the idea here is that he's using this book, this Bible, to lay out a blueprint for a life that he thinks is sort of righteous and holy.
Who wrote that? What book are you talking? I'm sorry, I didn't do my homework. I should have done more research before coming on.
What
here.
I want to ask though is you've read a fucking lot of this book.
All right.
Have you come across any part of it that you've been like, I would model my life after this part of this book?
Listen, this might get a little controversial, and I'm being serious. Like this might be an opinion I have that maybe some other people in the atheist community don't have. But I'm going to say it because, and you can just delete me out of the show.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any reason we should believe that the Bible would say anything good. Like, all those signs people wave that said, and Jesus said about homosexuality, ... like, as in blank, like he didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the road we should be going down. Like, I totally I appreciate if anyone is trying to reduce bigotry within religion like that. That's definitely a good cause. But the idea that we're going to say, like, no, you're right to have your religion, but you're reading your book wrong. Here, I'll tell you how you're supposed to be reading your stupid holy book, and you should be reading it in a way that will make you nicer toward gay people. You know what I mean? Like, those, for instance, because the problem with the Bible is everything is in the Bible. Like, everything shitty is in the Bible. You can find justification for anything. What are the odds that all these movements, that gay rights around the 90s, for example, like, what are the odds that it just so happened that people started discovering that the Bible was actually pro-gay rights the whole time, but they discovered it only right whenever, society was discovering it.
Right, right.
Just so happened, if Jesus was really so cool with gay people, like, why didn't we always know that? Why was it only coincidentally when society started turning that way? And I just don't, I think I guess it's a tactic. Maybe it's a tactic we have to use in order to get people to treat other people better, and specifically religious people to treat gay people better. But isn't it frustrating at all that that's the arguments we have to use? Like, let me tell you what your book really says. You know, it's like, who gives a shit what a book says? Why don't we just tell people, like, this is what you should do? You know, like what?
Yeah, anyway. No, I agree, and I think you're absolutely right. The problem, I think, arises in that there's no way to get these people to stop looking at that book. To reference their life. Yep. They can't just leave it behind, whereas the rest of us can be like, look, man, that thing is fucking full of hate. I mean, they drowned all the animals. All the cute animals are dead. Like, how could you read a book where you drown all of the things on the earth?
And that's the children's play.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you look at that book?
I'm not trying to be facetious at all right now, but that's one of the nicer things that has happened to people in the Bible. I'll be honest with you, in the Old Testament. Drowning, I'd take drowning over a lot of what happened to people. So, just to give you an idea. Like,
but you look at it, and, my first thought is, when you were saying that, Thomas, is I kind of disagree. Like, I want people to use the Bible to justify the shit that's going on that's progressive and decent in society because it's behavior modification.
Sure.
At some point, you don't reason with the dog to stop pissing on the floor. You just try to modify the behavior. It's like, we should try to figure out why and explain to the dog. There are some people who are like, I'm going to read the book. Whatever the book says, or rather, whatever you tell me the book says, so I'm not going to read it myself. So whatever you tell me the book says is what I think the book says. And the book that you hold that I didn't read that you read to me kind of sort of partway is the thing that I'm going to believe. So if that's going to be the case, then it's like, well, fucking put the shock collar on them and make sure they don't bark at the neighbor. I just don't want them to bite the mailman anymore.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you're providing like a counter argument, because I really think that you're right, but I just don't think I can be that person. And if that's why I'm not going to stop anyone. But like, I just cannot be a person who lies, who just, except when I, tell you that I wasn't, with your wives the other day. That's the only time.
What I think, though, too, is, look at what this guy does. What does this guy do? He's not reading the Bible to them. He's just finding a verse in there that he can keep talking about. He's talking about, like, the bread of knowledge. And at one point he talks about, you'll be wise in the Lord. And he's saying that means if you read the Bible, you're more wise. And then you listen to the guy and you're like, well, clearly you've read a lot of the Bible, my friend, and you are not the wisest individual I've ever heard speak before. So the thing is that he's picking and choosing all of his arguments. He's going through and saying, well, this passage reinforces my chauvinistic behavior, and this passage reinforces the fact that women shouldn't be doing other things, and this passage reinforces the fact that women shouldn't speak unless they're spoken to, et cetera, et cetera. And he works his way through to find and pick all these things to modify his point, to show people this is what he thinks is the Bible is saying. I think that the counter argument to that is when people go through, people that are really, biblical scholars that have studied the Bible can go through and be like, well, here, this is where he says this stuff that counteracts that. And I think the only way you're going to get some of these people to even change their mind is to show them the Bible. But I'm with you, though, too, where I just want to say, well, fucking wake up, dummy.
Well, I think, okay, let me pose it to you this way. Why should it be? Why would you think it is? You're an atheist, right? Or do you
No,
make some other
Both
distinction? I'm sorry,
atheists.
I don't already know that.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure before I go on. Why should it be that the Bible somehow had this right at a time when no one had it right?
It's true.
And all the people involved. Like, why do you think that do you think there's some mystical reason they would have gotten it right? No, they were wrong. They're a horrible society. Why do you think that it... Well, why do you think that they would have gotten it right? There's no way that, that argument that if you really look detailed into it that they're wrong, no, they're right. Like, if you interpret it that way, you're right. I personally think that if you're going in and finding ways that we shouldn't be misogynistic in the Bible, all you're doing is doing it the other way. You're just covering your tracks, picking and choosing to justify the other way. Because even Jesus himself said that he fully believes in the Old Testament. Jesus was a Jew. He was not a Christian. He wasn't a follower of himself.
He just chases his shadow ad infinitum.
Yeah. He's like, I can't catch
like a
myself
dog with
here
his
when
tail.
I'm trying to worship myself. He just ran around in circles. That's all he did. And people were mystified by it. They're like, he's our king. No. No, he believed wholeheartedly in the Old Testament. He said every single part of it is true, and it's like, I think that people have to really pick and choose to get it to not be that. And I'm glad you made that argument, though, because you might be right that people need to be diplomatic. And that's why I started out from the get-go saying, like, if this results in people being nicer to people and respecting other people more, then I guess it's the right thing. But I just personally, I can't handle just dipping into this just madness, just this ludicrous idea that we should even be listening to this book to God, like that, like there's any shred of truth in it, really, in its premise, that is, that there's a God talking to these people in order to treat each other nicely. I just can't even get into that reality.
Well,
it's just so frustrating.
You're also, you're right in that what it is depicting a barbaric society. I mean, when you read this book, it's not like these are civilized people.
You know what would make it more believable? I mean, honestly, what would make it more believable is if everything that we've come to know about the world was in, like, if for 2,000 years, if everybody looked at that thing and was like, man, slavery isn't wrong. What the fuck? We've had and it was like, it was clear as day, like, slavery is some bullshit. So saith the Lord. Like, women be just as good as y'all. So saith some God. Like, and for 2,000 years, people were like, man, no, you got that part wrong. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh man, that's fucking clear. It's not told in a series of fucking obfuscated parables, like it's just, here's some fucking real advice. But instead it's like, well, here's a bunch of stories that contradict each other, but then otherwise shed light on a backward world. And now we throw that shit out because, it's like we have to drag this all religious texts kicking and screaming into the modern world and try to fucking shoehorn them into a way that we actually want to live. Because nobody wants to live that way. Like, as ridiculous as it is, it's like, well, you used to be the washing machine. It's like, well, yeah, and that sucked. Like, nobody wants to be the washing machine anymore. Because now you can be a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, or now you could just be a stay-at-home mom who doesn't have to be the washing machine.
Right. You can do other things.
Yeah, and I love, like, he has no sympathy for women or empathy for women, but he's really empathizing with the washing machine, because he's saying, like, women, don't get mad at it. Like, that's the one thing he really cares about is washing machines. He's like, hey, go easy on this washing machine.
Pro Maytag.
You could be that. You could be that washing machine. Damn it. Be nice to it. Yeah, that's the only thing he cares about. It's funny. We found his real motivation. Yeah, but I love this argument of Jesus said nothing directly on it, therefore he's totally fantastic about it. Like, yeah, he also didn't say anything about raping a baby, pooping on your grandpa's head. Like mass genocide. He didn't really. There's a lot of things he didn't say anything about.
It's like when you take it, you're taking all the stuff that he didn't say something about and writing a book about it. Right? It'd be a huge fucking book, man.
Right.
He didn't say about the Big Bang either. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like those were things that were universally at the time not accepted. Well, actually, I've read that pooping on grandfather was accepted in some circumstances.
Doesn't Noah's daughters do that? Is that a different book?
In certain
2 daughters, 1 cup. I don't know. I mean, there's something going on there. I don't know.
Why are you using those kangaroos as firewood? Well, I can. Man. Jesus didn't say not to. Yeah. So I use them as firewood. They're good hopping firewood.
Also, Jesus didn't say anything about always using turn signals, but I really think that we should always.
Jesus' rules of the road.
I only bring this up.
Like, keep your hands at 10 and 2 and don't bleed on the steering wheel.
Yeah. I want to make a sign that says, and Jesus said about safe driving habits. Quote, blank.
Like, why are you drinking and driving? Jesus didn't tell me not to.
Yeah. And Jesus said about secondhand smoke. ... Like, yeah, he didn't say a lot of things. Yeah.
So, Thomas, if people were going to find your podcast and your stuff online, where would they go?
Oh, I got this new website I set up. It's www.google.com, and then I put in this little bar that if you type in Thomas in the Bible, I found it's way easier than
so it's just it's
messing with a long URL.
GLE, is that what you said?
Yeah, 2 O's. GOO. Yeah, it's weird. I know it's hard to remember, but it's like
I've heard of that.
It means like one with 1,000 zeros or one with 100 zeros. Yeah. My actual place where you can find me. Sorry about that. My actual place is the Facebook page. I'll link over I'll plug the show on my page and cross-link. And if you want to go to facebook.com/T and the B.
T and the B.
That's where, yeah. So sorry, being snarky.
No, I mean, it's
actual...
fine. The thing is that would totally work. You know what I mean? Like going to Google and typing Thomas in the Bible is just as good as giving out a web address. But we will link to it on this episode of the show, and hopefully people will check out your podcast. A very funny podcast. Tom, are you doing it live now?
Oh yeah, I've been live videoing. What's the proper verb for that?
Video casting?
Streaming? Oh, okay.
We call that the Bill O'Reilly, actually.
Video casturbating? No, something like that? No.
This is one of those adult stations. Okay.
Oh wait, yeah, that's my other podcast. Sorry, that's a little. No, it's I've been live doing it on what the hell is the site? Ustream.
Are you familiar with your own show
Ustream.
at all?
No, I don't know shit. I'm just a paid representative. This is not actually Thomas. I'm just he doesn't
It's an
come out.
incredible simulation, that's for sure.
He doesn't get out of bed for the figures you guys discussed with me. He doesn't even waste his time.
Well, thank you for coming on our show, Thomas. We appreciate it, man.
The pleasure is all mine. Great show. I had a great time this year, last year, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day 2014, I'm going to expect a call.
I'm putting it on my calendar right now.